One time, one of my favorite team members came to me and told me that she was finally putting in her 2 weeks because she had gotten into a program that she really wanted to get into. I was super excited for her because we had this conversation multiple times and I knew that it was something that she really wanted to do. So for HR purposes, anytime that somebody needed to take a leave or anytime that somebody wanted to resign, then they had to fill out a form so that we could send it to HR and keep it in her file. So she fills it out, I take it back to the office, and I lay it on the desk for the GM. Now, a couple videos ago, I told you about this type A manager that I really didn't get along with. Well, this story is involving her again. So a little while later that day, she comes storming into the dining room with the resignation form in her hand. So she comes up to me and she goes, I need to know who accepted Ashley's resignation. So I said, well, you have the paper in your hand with my signature on it. So you know that I accepted the resignation and you're asking me specifically about it. So you know it was me. Is there something wrong with it? Did she fill it out incorrectly? Is it missing information? Like, what's your issue? And she rolls her eyes and goes, ugh, and she like storms off. So I'm like, girl, whatever, because I'd figure if it was that important, then you'd use your big girl words so we could talk like adults and figure out whatever issue you think exists. And she really went out of her way to avoid me for the rest of the day like it was some type of punishment, but in reality, it was a blessing. Hallelujah. So the next day we had a scheduled managers meeting where we go over like financials, operations, staffing, that type of thing. And so they get to me and ask me if I have anything on the list that I want to discuss. So I'm like, yeah, I wanted to, just remind everyone that Ashley put in her resignation. She's going to be leaving on this date, da-da-da-da-da. The GM is like, okay, well, before we get to that, let's just sidestep for a minute. So I'm like, sure, what's up? And so she's like, I just want to kind of check in, like, how are you? Like just with the transition and joining the team and integrating with us and doing things the way that we usually do it here. Like, how are you feeling? Like, how are you? How's everything going? So I'm like, this is weird. But I'm like, everything's been interesting so far. Unfortunately, we have as many opportunities as we do wins. But I'm sure that if we work together, the skills will tip a little bit more into our favor. Giving her corporate answers because she's asking me stupid corporate questions. And she goes on like this for another 4 minutes, like asking me the same question just in different ways. So eventually I'm annoyed and I'm like, hey, like, did something happen that's causing you to ask me these questions? Like, and if so, would you like to just go ahead and attack it head on so that we can find a solution so that it no longer presents as an issue? Like, what's going on? Type A jumps in and says, this whole resignation thing is going to be a problem for us. I don't know what you were thinking, but I would have never accepted that resignation right now. So I'm like, what? What do you mean that you would have never accepted the resignation? We don't have a choice. So she goes, well, if you were aware of all of the events we have coming up soon, then you would know that now is not the best time to lose our strongest server. So I say, well, for one, I'm very aware. And for two, if the success of these events are based solely on the fact of Ashley being there or not, then that means that we as managers, we have a lot of work to do. I said we have ample time before these events even begin. We can go over some key training points with the rest of the team. We can also hire and train someone and bring them in. And if for some reason we can't find the perfect candidate to join the team by then that means that we have to just pad the schedule a little bit with a few extra servers and managers have to be hands-on at these events. And so she goes, well, we wouldn't have to do any of that if you just denied the resignation in the first place. So I said, well, who am I to deny someone to move on with their life? And she says, well, I guess it all depends on if you're a team member or are you a manager? So I say, I manage a restaurant. I don't manage people's lives. I don't know if you're aware, but this is just a stepping stone for some people. Some people just need to do this job to put food on the table. This is my career. This is your career. This is what we chose. And I think that we have to know that and we have to respect that. We're going back and forth and it's starting to get a little bit heated. And then the GM finally decides to step back into the conversation. She goes on about having a passion for what we do and what that looks like is making sure that we're putting the restaurant first. And we'll have to sit down with Ashley to see if there's something that we can work out and push her resignation day back. When she finished talking, I said, yeah, you guys can do that and just let me know how it all works out for you. But I can't be a part of that conversation. To which she responds that we have to be a team and we have to present a united front and the team shouldn't know that there's a divide when a decision is made. And I said, she's going to have to. Ashley's going to have to know that we are divided on this topic. There's no way that I'm going to stop her from doing what it is that she really wants to do and hold her hostage because I need someone to help me drop a few extra Caesar salads on the table. I'm just not doing it. And they went. And they had a conversation with Ashley. And after that conversation, we never saw Ashley again. And we were down somebody for the events anyway. Restaurant managers take themselves way too seriously.